are. We're all coming to you live from Florissant. It looks like it's getting ready to start snowing outside, which will be nice. A number of us went skiing over the weekend. Lots of people, but really fun. And we're just looking forward to talking a little bit about the summer. We love the snow, but we obviously love the summer more. It's 5 o'clock on the dot, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Ariella Rogge, and I'm the director at High Trails, the girls' camp. And my colleague Mark Rutberg isn't going to be able to join us, but we have a great representation from the rest of Big Spring. And so I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this whole thing will work, and then we'll get started with our video. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jill and Jesse.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were still muted. I'm Jessie. I work with both camps a lot. One of my favorite things is to meet campers at the airport. So if you're going to fly in, you'll see me in Denver. And I also love canoe trips.
Hi everyone, my name is Jill, and I'm the in-camp program director at Big Spring. And one of my favorite things at camp are the evening programs that we have. So counselor hunt, bingo night, the dances. I love all the big evening programs that we do.
All right, let's hear from Cato and PJ.
All right, hello everybody. My name's Cato. I'm the trip program director for Big Spring, and one of my favorite things about camp is some of our long trips, specifically the Terryalls long trip, which goes through some beautiful scenery, awesome rock formations. It is a wonderful, wonderful time.
And then I'm PJ. I'm the assistant director for Big Spring. My favorite thing at camp is being Cato's music stand at Vespers and making sure that he can play his guitar and sing along as well. We'll kick it over to Emily and Anne.
Hey everybody, my name is Emily. I'm the assistant director and in-camp program director at High Trails, and I have a lot of favorite things about camp. And I've been trying to think for the last 20 minutes about what I was going to say, but my favorite thing, I think, is cooking really, really, really good food out in the backcountry with kids.
Nice. My name is Ann Shingler, and I am the expeditions and operations director for both camps, and then the assistant director at High Trails also. My favorite part about camp, besides the trips, clearly, and being in the backcountry, is Vespers, which is something we do each week, and just an opportunity to be quiet as a community and reflect on the week we've had. We're going to kick it over to Elizabeth.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Marable, and I am the executive director for COEC. And so many good parts, like Emily said, of camp and trying to pick your favorite. But I do feel like I'm a professional tuber, that like floating down the river tuber. So if that were an Olympic sport and I could do it with kids at the river, that would be one of my favorite things.
Fantastic. And again, I didn't share my favorite part of camp. I love rock scrambling. We have lots of these great rock formations all over the property where we can go with our friends and kind of practice some moves, you know, make sure we have all 4 points on the rock. We also do I love a lot of rock climbing, and then spend a fair amount of time over at the high ropes course too. So lots of great activities and adventures. And how this is going to work is we're going to play our video, and that'll give you a sense of some of the people and the places we go and some of the space. You can actually see camp a little bit. And then while you are watching, or if there are questions that are coming up as you're watching, feel free to throw those questions in the chat box. Emily is our chatterator, and so she's going to moderate the chat and pull those questions out, and then kind of pitch those to different folks from the team to be able to answer as those come into the chat box. And then if there are questions that we don't get answered, you know, we'll probably put those in some of our FAQ blogs that we start putting out, as well as you know, we always love to chat if there's anything specific that comes up out of this conversation you'd like to chat more about. So this is where it's a little exciting. I'm going to stop my video, mute myself, and share my screen. So hold, please.
In 1948, a couple's vision took root on 480 acres in the shadow of Pikes Peak in central Colorado. Sanborn is located about an hour west of Colorado Springs and has since grown to 6,000 privately owned acres, about 10 square miles, with permits to access over 30,000 acres of adjoining national forest and national monument land. We are located at about 8,600 feet, with rolling meadows, rocky bluffs, spectacular wildflowers, deer and elk, and other wildlife. You never know what you might find. We have no poisonous snakes, poison ivy, or anything that would keep you from wanting to get out and explore the world around you. Recent research points to how contact with nature calms and focuses children while exciting their senses. It also provides physical and emotional exercise, reduces stress, and promotes resilience. As one scientist puts it, we can now assume that just as children need good nutrition and adequate sleep, they may very well need contact with nature. We feel there's no better place to connect with the natural world than at Sanborn. Along with our unmatched space in which to hike, camp, horseback ride, and play, we have developed many learning centers throughout the camp to enhance the camper's experience. Campers may go to these sites for half-day, all-day, or two-day programs. You might hike out to Teepee Village, learn about the Ute culture through games and activities. Visit the Quick Homestead, an original 1890s homestead, and get a taste of settler life firsthand. Explore the Witcher Ranch, a working cattle ranch since the 1860s and still in operation today. Make your way to the Inner Barn, our hands-on nature and science center showcasing our many interconnections with the world around us. Head to our observatory, which houses one of Colorado's largest telescopes, and along with smaller telescopes and dark skies, it's a great place for night sky viewing. We also adjoin the Fluorescent Fossil Beds National Monument, with incredible opportunities to see 35-million-year-old petrified redwood stumps, along with the amazing insect and plant and fish fossils. After spending the day at the fossil beds, we then go to a private dig site where campers have the chance to split shale and find their very own fossils. Other key facilities at camp include the lodges. Our lodges are the center of each camp's community. We gather in the lodges every day for home-cooked meals served family style. The lodges are also the perfect space for rainy day activities, daily announcements, and lots of singing, cheering, and chanting. Our swimming pools are great for relaxing, splashing, and cooling off on a warm day. The pools are staffed by certified lifeguards, and campers complete a basic swim check within the first few days of camp. Each camp's riding program has its own barn and arena. The barns house tack and equipment for horseback riding activities and trips, while the arenas are perfect for lessons when you're not out on the trail. The craft shops provide space for creativity and artistic expression: painting, pottery, bead making, woodworking, paper making, and more. Our health centers are staffed by registered nurses who are supported by the camp's medical team, including directors, a physician's assistant, and EMTs. Nurses will check campers in, will distribute regular medications throughout the summer, and take care of bumps and bruises that might happen along the way. And we have a regional hospital in Woodland Park about a half hour from camp. Athletically, we're very non-competitive. We have a lot of pickup games. Who's here? Who wants to play? Great, let's go. We play frisbee, soccer, volleyball, basketball, field games, and some great non-traditional camp-only games such as 9 Square in the Air, Quidditch, or Gaga. At Big Spring, the month-long campers are assigned to live on one of 4 ridges by grade. They live in wooden frame platform tents or yurts and use nearby washhouses. The living units have comfortable beds and electricity. We call it comfortable rustic. They can roll up the flaps to a fresh breeze and enjoy the great community up and down the ridge. The 2-week junior campers live in cabins with 2 bunk rooms, along with indoor bathrooms and a terrific front porch for hanging out and playing games. At High Trails, the girls live on one of 2 ridges in cabins with bunk rooms on either side. There are lockers for all of their belongings and gear. The cabin also has a shared central bathroom and cozy living room with a fireplace. It's a great community space where the girls love hanging out and enjoying each other's company. Our staff to camper ratio is no more than 1 to 5 in the living units and closer to 1 to 4 in in-camp activities. The space of camp only gets larger thanks to public lands and the permits we have through the National Forest Service that give us access to more 14ers, 14,000-foot peaks, than any other camp in the country, as well as other mountain summits, miles of backcountry trails, rivers for rafting and tubing and fishing, a nearby canoeing reservoir, wide open spaces to discover, explore, and take in with awe.
I love camp because I can be free in nature of Colorado.
Spending a month outside is very easy and very difficult at the same time.
I love being a camper here at Sanborn because it's sort of like my home away from home.
Like, every time I come to camp, I end up sharing more, I end up giving more, I end up caring more and asking more questions and being in general more of the person who I want to be all year round.
Like in the next week we're going to be climbing 3 mountains, so just having a much longer span of time just offers up a lot more to do.
But when you're in such a small community and you get to know everyone, it's really nice to be unplugged and get to talk to them face to face.
Sanborn gives one of the best opportunities I can think of for children who need wide open spaces and natural time to really experience that unfettered.
I think the sense of adventure is apparent from the first minute you pull up, and all of the enthusiasm and all of the activities that the children are introduced to. And then when you pick your child up, you hear nothing but stories about all of their adventures for the rest of the year until they get to come back.
1, 3, it's not 2, 1. It's not gonna work, guys. 1, 21, 7, 1, 8, 1.
In addition to our incredible spaces and facilities, camp is truly about the people, the staff, the campers, and the community that is created when they come together. From the beginning, our mission has always been about creating a community of young people sharing fun and adventure in the outdoors. This still holds true, and we find our mission is even more important for the youth of today than it was in 1948. The foundation of our community is our staff. We maintain a year-round staff of about 20 educators, youth development professionals, and activities specialists who develop wonderful programs and trips. The year-round team provides guidance, leadership, and experience for our summer staff. We all work very hard to attract and retain the best men and women from around the country and beyond to be with us this summer. Each year, we hire over 100 staff members who are college age, recent college graduates, or program area experts to join us. Many of our staff return each summer, and a good number of the staff are former campers. We do extensive background checks on all staff members, including FBI fingerprints, driving records, reference checks, and personal interviews. We look for all types of skills, backgrounds, and experiences as we craft a strong and diverse staff. A strong sense of fashion, for example, is very important. With the many technical and interpersonal skills each staff member brings to camp, we add to their experience with our 11-day staff training. We develop the staff community, teach our protocols, establish our expectations, provide tools and strategies for working with children, and ground everything in our mission. Underlying all of the skills and training, though, first and foremost, there must be the passion to work with children, to be role models, teachers, friends, mentors, to be silly and lead fun activities, to help each and every child grow.
Sometimes we talk about it as the ABCs of camp: be adventurous, be brave, and challenge yourself. Because it's kind of scary, and it's you have that sense of, I've never climbed a 14,000 foot mountain. I've never gone on a multi-day horseback trip. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have the skills. And then you're with all these people around you who they're sort of feeling the same way, but yet they also, some of them think they can. And so when they think they can, then you start thinking you can. And so that kind of that ball starts rolling, and all of a sudden you see kids and campers feeling like they're helping each other.
I think the importance of Sanborn in the world today is this opportunity to be, and that's what camp has always offered, is to just be. And that experience is more and more important as we continue to move through a world that feels heavy and complicated at times.
One of the most prominent features of our programs is the free choice that kids have in building their experience at camp and customizing their experience. We offer a ton of different adventures that kids can get out on. You can ride horses, you can climb mountains, you can test the waters in canoe, you can go tubing and rafting for our oldest campers. You have a chance to get out on 3 to 5 day horse packing trips. There's a lot of teachable moments that happen at camp when kids get out into the backcountry and start to hike along the trail, and we're tired or hot or wet and cold, whatever it may be, you start to feel alive.
As you can imagine, when the campers arrive, it is very exciting as we are all there together for the first time and ready to kick off an amazing camp session. About a third of our campers come from Colorado, while the rest arrive from all over the US and a dozen or more foreign countries. We have big city and small town campers from urban, suburban, and rural communities. It's a fantastic, diverse mix of people. We have a high return rate for campers, but it's very easy to be a first-year camper. We focus a lot of attention early in the session on the living units to help everyone transition smoothly into camp life. After a very short time, it is hard for anyone to distinguish a new camper from a returning camper, because everyone is showing people around, settling into camp, participating in the program, and getting to know each other.
At Sanborn, we kind of get to go up mountains and whatnot, and we get to see different types of wildlife and flora. It's very relaxing, at the same time fun.
I love how you can ride horses at the barn, how you get to tack it up. This is my second time doing a month, and it's actually kind of fun instead of doing 2 weeks because you get more of an experience.
And an important part of those trips is that they get to be challenged. And when kids push themselves and they do those things that they didn't think they were capable of, they learn that they're resilient.
We often, as humans, never truly fully experience what our limits are, and being out for 5 days on a horse or climbing a mountain allows us to start to taste a little bit of what it is and how far we can push ourselves to do hard things. And like so many of the things at camp, you can then take that back and translate it to life, to push through classes, to push through jobs later, to work through hard moments because we know that we can do hard things.
Camp is a lot different than when I'm at home. At camp, you get to experience everything that involves Mother Nature, and at home, just glued to my cell phone.
At my first day at camp, I was really nervous, but the counselors and this whole entire community made it really awesome, and they made me laugh, and I realized that I was gonna have an awesome summer.
At Sanborn, we do have the opportunity to have our campers for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and that is a significant amount of time where those kids get to come as their individual selves, come where they are, and then develop who that is, and grow and learn, and then contribute that to the community. And the time that we have here allows us to do that.
And then they can take those skills away. They take those back to school. And I think that's the biggest part of what kids get from camp, is that sense of, I'm not afraid to try something new.
The diversity in trips here, it's a progression, and kids get to start small, build a comfort zone, and develop from there into the bigger adventures that kids can get into. People always need to be part of something bigger.
At Sanborn, I think that what camp has to offer the campers is this gift. It's a gift of resilience, it's a gift of simplicity, it's a gift of being in community and living in community with others. And that's what is really unique and special about camp, about the Sanborn experience, and about being here for a summer.
Coming to camp changes me because it gives me more courage to climb 14ers and do stuff that I would not be able to do at home, and just try new things.
Well, when I come back from camp, I believe I can do things that before camp I knew that I couldn't do. I say yes, I can do it, and I know I can do it, and I will do it. And I just am more I'm a lot different and more confident in myself. The food here is really good. I get seconds and thirds all the time because it's so good.
The meatballs are just out of this world. They're so good.
Trips here are really unique in that you get to just cut out your own shape for the summer, make it what you want it to be. You get to choose for yourself, and that's something that really makes camp unique and just a really enjoyable experience because it is truly your summer.
Responsibility is definitely a big thing here, but the counselors make it really easy.
One of my favorite memories at camps was the first time I got on a horse. It's scary, but it was pretty exciting.
I feel Sanborn has made me a better person because I go back home, and when things happen, I remember my experiences at camp and use those experiences to help me at home and become a better person.
I never get homesick at camp. I always get camp sick at home.
Coming to Sanborn for 2 weeks or for a month provides an incredible opportunity to put together the space of camp with the people of camp. It's this aspect of camp that allows for our broad, exciting, and fun program of trips, daily activities, and special events. Time is a key component for our substantial youth development goals. These include each camper developing multiple supportive relationships, having a sense of belonging, making independent choices and developing self-efficacy, participating in challenging and engaging activities, feeling emotionally and physically safe in nature and in the camp community. Camp provides a complementary piece to school's focus on the facts, figures, and details. It's a place to put it all together, to try new things, to make connections, to immerse yourself in a learning lab of hard skills, soft skills, creativity, fun, and personal expression. Our program is comprised of half-day to 5-day activities and trips, along with evening programs and special events. Each camp operates individually with special co-ed events on the weekends and a few other times during the session. In the Sanborn Junior program, the campers sample a wide range of program activities and trips. There are 2 overnights on the ranch, 4 horse trips, day trips to the South Platte River and to the Bat Caves for rock scrambling before going to dig fossils. There are special events, crafts, archery, swimming, and much more. For the most part, the junior campers stay together with their cabin mates and staff and experience camp as a cabin group during their session. It's a nice introduction to the month-long program at Big Spring and High Trails, and many juniors eventually transition into the month-long program. In the month-long program,
The added time expands the program opportunities and introduces more choice into the camp experience. There are more all-day and overnight trips and more adventures beyond camp property. The month-long campers will individually create their very own summer. Early in the session, each camper will sign up for an assortment of all-day, overnight, and longer trips. They will also select their long trip, a 3 to 5 day backpacking, mountain, or horse adventure. Once all of the signups are collected and processed, each camper will receive their own custom calendar of when their trips are scheduled. Our trips are unique and often create the most memorable experiences of the summer. They allow campers to gain and practice outdoor skills at an age-appropriate level. When not out on a trip, the campers will choose from an assortment of in-camp activities, such as crafts, the pool, assorted sports, archery, theme rides, hikes to the inner barn for activities such as mad scientist and flubber making, and other destination hikes like the 4-story treehouse, where you might participate in an egg drop. The in-camp program is custom built each week based on who is in camp each day and what people want to do. The time of Sanborn allows for even more than just fun activities and trips. Within the breadth of the camp program, campers have the opportunity to learn and explore in great depth. There is time to learn how to saddle and bridle your horse, how to care for it and be around it safely, and to develop your riding skills on the trail and in the arena as you spend time with the wranglers on trips and activities. You might even find yourself rounding up the most herded cattle in Colorado. You can tie your own fly, take it out fishing to stocked ponds or to the South Platte River and land a trout. Learn how to use a camera, compose a shot, develop the film, and then make a print in our darkroom. Become stronger in the outdoors as you learn how to pack your backpack, use a map and compass, set up your tent and campsite, cook in the outdoors, and then head out to summit a 14er or participate in a trail service project. Campers come to camp with a wide range of camping and outdoor experience, and our program is designed for those trying things for the very first time, as well as those with prior experience. The unit and cabin-side overnights and basic prep at the barns are just 2 examples of how we start off together at a common point to teach and lay the foundation for future trips and activities.
Because of the time we have together, our camp community of fun, friendships, teamwork, responsibility, resiliency, and shared experiences is dynamic and inclusive. There's time around the living units, making friends, collaborating, problem solving, getting to know each other, and just hanging out. There's time for special events, whether it's playing games, celebrating birthdays, or dressing up for one of our many themed dinners. There are co-ed weekend all-camp events, such as the Carnival and Gymkhana, a horseback riding showcase, plus many more other one-of-a-kind activities at camp. There's time on trips to experience camaraderie, teamwork, and the accomplishment of shared success through days spent together, creating stories and incredible bonds. There's time for campfires, perfect for s'mores. Each Sunday, there is time for Vespers. Each camp hikes to a special high point where we watch the sunset, sing songs, share quotes, enjoy the quiet, reflect on the past week, and look forward to the adventures ahead. And as we connect with each other throughout our shared experiences, we strengthen our connections to the natural world. As we camp out in the mountains under the stars, ride a horse through an aspen grove, watch the sunrise from a mountain peak, take time for ourselves. Look and really see the wildflowers. Meet some wildlife. Use the telescope to check out Jupiter or the moon. Sit at a high point. We have the time to take it all in. The space, people, and time of Sanborn are incredible aspects of a summer with us. Sanborn summers are special, unique, and life-changing.
We're really, really excited to now open it up for some questions. I know there are a number in the chat. And Em, do you want to pick a couple and toss them out to people?
Absolutely. Let's start with the ones that folks have already asked in the chat. There's a couple logistical questions that I want to throw to a couple people. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about how campers get to select their activities and trips, and is that week by week or for the whole month? How does that go?
Yeah, absolutely. It differs a little bit based on if you're in the junior program or the month-long program. In the junior program, you have more of a set schedule. It's an opportunity to really get a tasting of all the things we do at camp. So you'll go on a certain number of rides, you'll go on a certain number of camping trips, and that's kind of set for you a little bit. In the month-long program, there really is a lot more opportunity for that choice. We really do want our campers to be able to craft their schedule and kind of make it their own. And so at the beginning of each session, you'll sit down with the other people in your cabin or in your living unit and your counselors, and you'll kind of get an understanding of what all the trips are that are being offered to your age group. And then you'll be able to pick based on your interest, what you want to do there. And then we'll build out that calendar for the whole month. And then you'll get that and you'll know what you can look forward to and what the awesome things you're going to get to do are within that first week of camp. You'll be able to see that whole month-long schedule.
Cool. Thanks for talking to us about that. Jill, do you want to talk a little bit about what technology is like at camp and how that goes?
Yeah, so here at camp, we definitely believe in being tech free. It really allows all of our campers to be able to really just submerge themselves into the camp experience and to be a part of nature. And so none of our campers have access to cell phones or any type of technology on that line. We do have our staff members have cell phones on them in case of an emergency and they need to call in for anything that may be needed to address safety wise. But we definitely love being just having the tech-free environment, and we find that our campers really just enjoy not having to worry about kind of just the day-to-day responsibilities that sometimes technology comes into our lives. So really nice chance to kind of just step away and have a little bit of a slower pace.
And in terms of communication, it's fabulous because parents, you have the opportunity to send one-way emails, and we have a couple of different routes, either through the Camp in Touch system, that is where you fill out the application and make payments and whatnot. There's a one-way email system that is set up by CampMinder. We also have an app that is an optional purchase, and that makes it really easy. You can send those just those emails and updates on your phone. And we print those out once a day, typically in the morning. So that means, and that's 7 days a week. So your kiddos can actually get mail on Sundays, since we don't normally have USPS on Sundays up here. So that's a neat way to actually have a little bit of technology into camp. That companion app is also fantastic because you can upload a photo of your camper, and then it will do it has some facial recognition capabilities. We actually beta tested it last summer, and parents were really pleased with the outcome. As a mom myself of a camper, I was really excited when I got the little notification that there was a picture of my son that had been posted. So that makes it fun.
Cool. Thanks, Ariella. We had a question in there a little bit about supplies. That to me is a little bit about our packing list. What can we rent at camp? Those types of things. PJ, do you want to talk a little bit about the packing list and what kids need to bring for the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the packing list has some of the things that you'll definitely want to have with you. And then there is a section of optional as well. I would say that costumes for camp are not optional. You should probably bring every costume that you have because you will wear it at some point. But yeah, in our getting ready packet, there will also be a packing list in there. So we are also happy to answer any questions that are a little bit more specific as to what you should bring or maybe what you should leave behind. So feel free to reach out to us with that at any time. So yeah.
You can rent backpacks and sleeping bags and cowboy boots, but you can also bring those things too if you have them. So it's totally up to you.
Yeah, and we provide a lot of that out outdoor backcountry gear like tents and cook kits and stoves and those kinds of things. You'll be outfitted well on those trips and don't need to purchase that stuff for camp.
Cool. There was a question in there too, kind of about interactions between Big Spring and High Trails. Do the girls and boys have different cabins? Ariella, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yes. So Big Spring and High Trails, it started as the boys camp in 1948, and we are separate camps. We're about a mile apart as the crow flies, and we have two totally separate facilities, which is really nice. Everybody has their own pool and everybody has their own barn and stables area. The girls and the boys will interact, as it said in the video, ideally on the weekends. Some of our older campers have an opportunity to do some service learning projects through our Sanborn Outdoor Leadership and Community Outreach experience. Our JCs, our junior counselors, and our Outbackers are our oldest campers at the two camps, and they will have some different interactions and opportunities to do things together. But on the whole, the camps do remain separate to really create that opportunity for our own special communities to develop, independent of each other. And I think that creates a really nice opportunity. The other thing that is nice, though, is if you have a brother or sister at camp, we have I love the communication piece. We do have inter-camp mail. And so sometimes it gets delivered by the Pony Express on horseback, and sometimes it just shows up, but it doesn't require any stamps. And so you can write your brother or your sister a letter, and it will get delivered down at the other camp, which is kind of fun because, sometimes distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ari. There was one question that did come in kind of related to what PJ was talking about with supplies and the packing list about sizes of hiking backpacks. Usually we say around 60 liters for the month-long program, but if you're not ready to make that big of a purchase, that early on in your life, that's totally fine. That's why we rent out a lot of backpacks for those types of things. So just to address that part really quick, either you can buy a backpack or rent one from us. Cool. There's a question a little bit about age groups at High Trails and a little bit about the JC program, which is our junior counselor program, our oldest campers. And do you want to talk a little bit about the JC program, and then maybe we can jump to Cato to talk a little bit about the Outbacker program?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Tori. Very happy to see you on here and very happy to have you back. The junior counselor program and the Outbacker program are both just leadership development opportunities for our oldest campers. So those campers who have usually finished 10th grade have the opportunity to step into more of a leadership role within the community. They're assigned a younger unit of campers to work with. And so they'll get to know those kids, be a little bit of a mentor for them, have the opportunity to get to know more people at camp, and also be kind of those cultural torchbearers of the community and set the tone for what camp is for those younger kids who are coming in. They also have the opportunity to go on their own special trip and have that experience together. They'll go to the Great Sand Dunes, they'll go whitewater rafting, they'll get to do some of those things that are only available to kids in that program. And then they'll also have the opportunity to go on trips with younger kids, to get to mentor more people, to get to help other kids like fall in love with nature and have those experiences. So definitely a little bit different than that Gold Hut experience. You're just stepping more into a leadership role in the community at High Trails. So Cato.
Yeah, and I think you hit most of it. They are very much parallel programs. One of my favorite things about watching a couple sessions worth of Outbackers come through our program is how many of them come for the fun experiences that they get to have. As many of them that come for that, they also, as much, if not more so, come to give back to the community, and they get even more excited about going into the units with kids. And the campers look up to the kids in those programs so much because they were campers before as well. And, they relate to them that much better. So they're a wonderful part of our community, and it's wonderful to watch how much they grow in just a month here.
And I think that the great thing about Sanborn and our program is after your JC and Outbacker year, we ask our campers to go out and do different things. We kind of tee people up to be able to go out and do an Outward Bound course or a Knowles, or get some summer employment working with kids, because those are some of the things we want to see, skill-based, we want to see in our staff. And so when we hire our staff, we have roughly a 75 to 80 person staff at each camp. So we have over 150 individuals who will work with and support the campers over the course of the summer. And those individuals go through a pretty rigorous interview process. We do an initial interview to determine fit and make sure it's the right culture for these individuals, and then follow up with some additional kind of scenario-based, digging deeper type questions. And then we do a third interview where we actually talk about program area and interests, and really dig into what those staff members will be focusing on potentially in the summer. That said, our staff really are generalists in a lot of ways, which gives them an opportunity to be super creative and really help kids find their passion areas, partially because our staff are super stoked to be here and to be doing all sorts of different things. Our average age of our staff is kind of in that 21-year-old region, because we do need an older, more mature staff to lead our off-property trips. And so they, invest a lot of time. We have a 11-day staff training, plus for our senior leadership, so our peer supervisors have even more, to then be able to kind of go into the summer with a really strong sense of the skills necessary, like it said in the video, to lead activities, as well as, maintain the health, safety, physical, emotional of all the kids, while building a really strong community. So all of our staff are trained in CPR and first aid at a minimum. All of our trip leading staff have wilderness first aid at a minimum. We have a lot of staff members who come in with wilderness first responder or wilderness EMTs or EMTs. We also have a nursing staff of 5 to 6 nurses at each camp, or not at each camp, but three at each camp. And they really help support, are a big part of the community. They'll go out on trips and do things as well. So it's a really strong team. Our senior leadership, are people who have been at camp before, oftentimes for multi-year counselors, and they really help support the new staff, as well as, help lead excellent trips. So staff are background checked, FBI and CBI. Also, Colorado has a specialist trails background check as well. So our staff go through a pretty rigorous both interview and background check process before being hired.
Thanks for touching on that area. I wanted to address one question about staff training as well. We do have our staff go through a child abuse prevention training during the staff training period that they're here with us, as well as having them be certified mandated reporters as child care professionals. So that is definitely a piece and part of our staff training. There's another question in there too about helping kids who are having homesickness or some anxiety or stress while at camp. Jesse and Elizabeth, I feel like y'all are some really great folks to touch on that.
Yeah, homesickness is part of camp. And like in the video, when they said, I kind of shift from feeling homesick to feeling camp sick, that's super true. And that happens, and it takes time. And we train our staff. We got a lot of tricks up our sleeve. I don't know if we can share them all now, because then you'll know. But we do have some special things that we can work through on the homesickness front. And it's normal. Even when I was 20 years old and went to school in Spain for a while, I got homesick. And it means you love your family a lot. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to experience and to go through. And so, and also with the anxiety piece, some of those nuggets to work through, there's different levels. People are in really different places, and we meet people where they are. There are situations that we can work well through with campers. And there's times where if somebody has a counselor or therapist at home, we can always connect people to those kinds of resources as well. And we have resources, people we can call here. And how do you know, we talk a lot about what does it look like to be uncomfortable versus being unsafe. And we get to learn those kinds of things at camp in a really great environment to experience that. Jesse, I'll let you add anything as well.
I got the unmute button. I think too, a great thing to do as a camper who's coming, if you're nervous about being homesick, is to find somebody to have a conversation with before you get here. Talk to your mom or dad, or talk to an older sibling or a friend who's gone away and felt homesick, and ask them what that felt like. Ask them what they did and what it felt like when they were finally feeling better. Talk to people that you already know and love and get their advice, I think is a great idea. And then too, to have those conversations of what does that look like to be homesick or to be unsure, and encourage, as parents, we can encourage campers to make sure that they're talking to their counselors and talking to people that they've gotten to know at camp to express their feelings and to get some help too on that end, because we can't help unless we know what's going on. But we are always in communication with families. If we sense maybe a sad letter is going home, we will get in touch with parents to let them know and expect that, and also to be in communication with parents. And we can always go check in on campers. If you do get that sad letter as a parent, we will make sure we get some photos. If you're not seeing photos every week, we do a lot of things to help bridge that communication. Since you are only getting snail mail from your campers, we can definitely help on that front end. But definitely, if you're unsure, if you don't know what it's going to be like to be at camp, ask somebody some questions that you trust and get some advice on the front end.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you. There is a brief enrollment question about junior camp. Junior camp has been quite popular this year. Ari, do you want to address that really quickly before we move on to our next one?
Yeah, the girls' sessions right now are full and with some wait lists. I do know the gentlemen have a few spaces. That said, this is our kind of, this is a good time period to be thinking about camp, because we are seeing some transitions. Folks got together with family over the holiday and said, hey, let's go to Europe. And so people are making some different choices for their summer right now. And we offer a full deposit refund until February 1st. And so this is the right time. If you aren't currently, if you haven't currently applied, please feel free to apply online, and that way you'll be in our queue and be on our formal wait list. Folks who are on our formal wait list and are unable to get in this particular summer will be able to, will kind of be offered priority enrollment with our current camp families as we move into the fall. So it gives you first dibs for next year if we aren't able to get you in this year. PJ, what about you?
Yeah, it looks like right now, second session for the juniors is the only one that we have availability in. So those are dates June 28th through July 12th. But as Ariella mentioned, these are things that are shifting and evolving daily. So definitely, if you haven't applied yet and you still would like to have a preference on a specific time frame or session, do that now so that we have you in the system and we can make sure to try to do what we can on our end to make sure that you're able to come to camp this summer.
I'd like to ask Tori Tutt what her favorite meal is at camp. And anyone else who loves camp food. But Tori, share a little bit about your favorite camp meal and maybe your favorite thing you did last year.
So can you hear me? Oh, thank you. So I didn't really have a favorite meal because I just loved like all of the food. And I was so happy to see like new things on the table because I'm like, what even is this? And people were like, oh, it's so and so. And I tried it and I loved it. So one of the best things about the food there was that I was always like having something new or something familiar. And I always got like 3 meals a day, which was great. I was always being fed, which was good.
What about your favorite trip or adventure?
My favorite what?
Your favorite trip or adventure, anything from last summer that was super memorable for you?
I feel like even though it was a small one, the one day like by the river trip was very nice because it was very relaxing and I was a bit scared to go tubing and I was screaming the entire time, but it was a really fun time at the end and I loved it. And it was just hanging out with everybody and just being very calm. And it reminded me of being in Puerto Rico, like at the beach, but like more of a mountain style. So it was just I think of it all the time. It was such a great time.
Thanks, Tori. You're awesome.
No problem. Thank you.
Sometimes, there is a question that comes up around either, travel and like what that looks like, especially if people are traveling as unaccompanied minors and things like that. And so I'm going to turn that over to Jesse to kind of just give a rundown of what travel looks like to camp for most folks, especially airline consideration.
Yeah, I like to think of Denver Airport as my second home because I get to go there a lot and never fly away. So yes, we bring campers back to camp from both Denver and Colorado Springs. So the Denver crowd, we will load up a big charter bus and then it's about 2 hours of a drive before they get to camp. In Colorado Springs, we will load up a few of the camp vans and it's about an hour drive. So really, I would recommend just making the flight that works best for your family into which airport that is going to work for. We send staff to meet campers. We really try to ask that flights are between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. That allows us to get back to camp before dinner and allows the staff not to have to leave quite so early in the morning. So if you can book flights in those windows, if not, no worries, give me a call. We'll figure something out. But we take enough staff to each airport to go meet every flight at the gate. And so whether they're an unaccompanied minor or not, there will be a staff member in a neon orange t-shirt that's waiting for them when they walk off the airplane. And then they'll work together to go get their luggage and they'll come meet at the hangout spot. And then that next shuttle to camp that's leaving, we'll get them on that. So we work to get food if they're coming in at mealtime and they're hungry. It's really, we walk them through the whole process and then we do it in reverse when they go home. We know that the last promise that we made to parents is that they will safely get on that airplane. So we walk with them through that whole process. So if there's any more specific questions, definitely give me an email or give me a call. We can make sure that happens. And then when we make the forms go live in February, when you start filling out all of your camp forms, there is a form that you will fill out that will give us the information about how your camper will be arriving to camp so that we can know where to meet them at.
Awesome. PJ, could I throw you out there and have you talk a little bit about dietary restrictions if people have special dietary needs, since you're a vegetarian and everything?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, so when it comes to dietary restrictions, we really try our absolute best and our kitchen staff tries their absolute best to accommodate to every single possible combination of dairy-free, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, you name it. So really, I've never had better batch cooked vegetarian food in my life. And so it really is nice to know that you're going to have a good meal no matter what your dietary restrictions are. And we make sure to work together to make sure to accommodate for specific needs at camp, eating in the lodges or even out on the trail, making sure that you have your own cooking utensils if you're gluten-free and celiac, or different things like that. So yeah, really anything that you can throw at us, it probably won't be the first time that we've heard it, and we will definitely find a way to make it work.
Thanks, PJ. Another question that sometimes comes up is, who washes my socks? And I'm going to let Jill address our sock situation.
That is a really great question, Ari. Yes, we have a really great laundress here at camp that wash all of our clothes for us, which is really awesome. And we switch off between High Trails and Big Spring. So we have lots of laundry days for our clothes to get washed, which is really awesome. And we put them in a laundry bag, and that laundry bag gets taken to our laundresses who wash our clothes for us and get them back in a really great and timely manner. So definitely, like I said, every other day. So we have lots of opportunities to wash cans, especially for those month-long sessions when campers are here for the entire time. And there's lots of activities going on daily. There's lots of opportunities to always be able to have clean clothes and clean socks.
But the key is you have to actually put it in the laundry bag.
True, that is the key.
They do a lot of the work for you, but you got to get it from your locker or your backpack into the laundry bag.
And it really helps if your name's on it too.
That is a very, very great point. It really helps if your name is on it, especially because the laundry gets washed all together. So it helps with sorting at the very end to be able to have your name on all of your articles of clothing.
And Philip, yes, everyone, it's nice to, if you have a laundry bag, it's nice so they can throw it in there if you want. It's not required because we do have these big laundry bags, but that is where the name pieces come in when the staff are redistributing that folded laundry. We have probably the most talented, strong and dedicated laundresses in the state of Colorado working here at Sanborn Western Camps. They're amazing.
The one piece of that too, I think, is the laundresses do fold all of our laundry as well when it comes out, which is incredible. But they won't take things out of personal laundry bags and fold them. So that's kind of the trade-off there. They'll leave it in that personal laundry bag. It'll be clean and dry, obviously, but won't be folded. So that's a piece. There was a question too in the chat about how many girls are in each cabin at High Trails and if we recommend for siblings and friends to be in the same cabin. I can speak a little bit to that, and then if any other High Trails folks want to add on. We have kind of 2 cabin sides, like we said in the video, in each cabin. And in each cabin side, there's usually 9 or 10 campers per cabin, and then 3 staff members in there as well. So in the whole cabin, usually 18 to 20 campers and about 5 or 6 staff. When it comes to siblings and friends, it really kind of depends. I think it can be really comforting in some ways to have a sibling or a friend in the same cabin, especially if it's your first time going away, but it can also be a really empowering experience to do that for the first time and know that your sibling and friend is maybe in the next cabin over, or is at High Trails with you, or is at Big Spring. So to know that they're still there, but know that you're doing that experience on your own and really becoming independent. So I think it totally depends on the situation and how you feel like those 2 people will get along and have that experience together. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'd say so. We assign the cabins based on grade. So if siblings are kind of separate in grades, then it would probably be better for them to stay separate in those cabin experiences. And so sometimes it looks like it's a cabin of everybody who just finished 7th grade, or maybe there's a little bit of a mix, 6th and 7th graders in there. But for the most part, it's that similar age range that's sharing a cabin together.
Great. So Ariella, I think those are most of the questions that we've seen in the chats today. If anyone has any others, we can address those, maybe throw those in the chat, and we can put those either in our FAQ or talk about them in our next Zoom too.
I did see one in there about care packages.
Oh, thanks, PJ.
Yeah, we definitely allow care packages, but for us specifically at Big Spring, where we aren't living in cabins, most
And
of
at High Trails, same thing at High Trails.
Okay, great. Same thing at High Trails. See, we're all learning here. It's great if the care packages don't include food, just because we are in the middle of the Colorado wilderness. So there are different critters that would share that food with you, whether you would like them to or not. So yeah, definitely if you could not include food in those care packages, that would be greatly appreciated. We do offer snacks and different things like that at the store. So if campers are wanting to get that fix of ice cream, they definitely have the ability to do that. So, you know, they are not going without when it comes to that. So if you are wanting to send a care package, it's best if it's like a game that, you know, the camper and their cabin mates can share or something like that. That's awesome.
Or
I think
some
I covered that.
costumes.
Or some costumes. Costumes are always good. Yeah.
We like fun accessories. Well, this is our hour, and we're happy to stay on for a few more minutes if people have some specific questions. Otherwise, we are also available via email, via phone. We'll throw our email addresses up into the chat, and basically it's our first name at sanbornwesterncamps.com. So always a little long, but still, please feel free to shoot us an email or just give us a call here in the office during the weekday, and one of us can answer, as you can tell, most of the questions that come up, as well as anything else that comes up after you all get off and think about it. That Vimeo link is in the chat, so feel free to copy that. And we are really, really appreciative and grateful that you all joined us this evening. Thanks for bouncing along through our Zoom video, and please look forward to seeing you all this summer if you're going to join us. So thank you so much.
There was the specific question about which cabin they got put in there a couple times. And so the actual physical cabin assignments come out right before the summer sessions start, because things are always evolving with enrollments. So we don't know exactly which cabin all the time right away. So that's something that gets to be a fun surprise right before camp starts.
Thanks, Iz.
Yep.
Tremendous. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Matt, for the compliment. We appreciate everybody. And again, enjoy the rest of your week. And may you all be able to stay in school and everyone stay healthy and take care of yourselves.
If you're a Kansas fan, they're playing right now.
Rock Chalk.
Rock Chalk.
Go Dogs.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.